the use of IREF does not, guarantees the victory. So let no Nigerians, rejoice only at that. But we should see the protest, that was protest, to fight for the use of, electoral transmission of results. I mean, electronic transmission of results, which is through the IREF. We should just see it as God, standing against every movement, using a diplomatic movement to stand against the means through which the, other people who are trying to, manipulate results, rig results of election, let's just see it as God using that to stand against them. Greetings to you, dearly beloved Nigerians. God bless you in Jesus' mighty name. To you, my lovely subscribers and my family in Christ, God bless you in Jesus' name. I have something urgent to share with you, and this is in regards to the electoral, transmission of results that was just passed into bill, yesterday, the 10th of February, 2026. Of course, we know that there have been, protests since on the 9th of February. And of course, on the 10th, there was also a protest in the National State of Assembly in Abuja. And one thing that made me to want to share this message with you is that these things that are happening, these protests, we, all witness that happen, they are not ordinary. They are fulfilling prophecy. I remembered I gave a prophecy regarding these things, and they are happening. They are happening. I already made a video about it, about the prophecy, yesterday, the 10th of February. So make sure you go to my channel and listen to the message. Here is the flyer on the screen so that you can be able to, recognize the video on my channel. Now, the purpose why I'm here is to reveal the fact that yesterday, while I was making that video, there are angels, 3 angels that visited me on that live, recording yesterday, and I said it that they are going to, pass, the electoral transmission of result into bill, and it's going to be effective, and Nigeria is going to use it for, election in 2027. And let me leave you to watch that part of that message of what is happening in the House of Senate regarding the protests that are going on, and not just on a shallow level, but to give us divine understanding so that we can know what is ahead of Nigeria and what these things, are up to. Wow, I can sense the presence of about 3 angels right now. There are 3 angels right now, and this is to confirm to me, and I am sharing it with you live right now, that there's going to be the transmission of results through electronics transmission that the people are, protesting for. So this is the confirmation. This is the confirmation. Angels came to confirm it to me while I am recording. You can see. That was what happened while I was, recording that message yesterday. And yesterday, the bill was passed. Although I will not claim it right now that, this is prophecy being fulfilled. But I will say, because of the fact that yesterday was the very time I made the video and recorded it and posted it, and at the same time was that same yesterday it was passed into bill, because many of you will not believe. And for those of you who believe, it's fine. But truly the word came to pass. And the other thing I need you to know is that, you see, I have said it in my videos that there is going to be a movement to rig election. And the movement to rig that election is the act of, the House of Senate denying the transmission of result through electronic means in the first place. They denied it. So it is a system to rig the election. It's a movement to rig the election. Let me leave you to watch the, clip from that prophecy so that we can analyze it better. There's not going to be fair election. There's going to be diplomatic and a pragmatic kind of election. It's not going to be a fair election. There's going to be a kind of a movement to rig the election. But there is one thing the Lord said to me sometimes ago. The Lord said that in that election, righteousness will swallow up corruption. So there's not going to be a fair election. It's going to be diplomatic and a pragmatic one. What I mean diplomatic is that every attempt to rig election is going to be caught because there's going to be a diplomatic movement to capture that reality. So much more that there will not be a chance for rigging, no matter how they try it. Now, you see, according to that message, that prophecy, I gave that prophecy on the 22nd of January 2026. And you see that this set the tone. It sets the tone for what is happening now. I said there was going to be a movement to rig the election of 2027. And I said that there is also going to be a diplomatic movement to capture, all the attempt to rig the election. And you can see that the tone of the prophecy, actually played out in the sense that the House of Senate, the president, Akpabio, denied the fact that, the transmission of results through electronic means is not possible before because of maybe network. But it was later found out that there's no need of network.
This IRF no require electricity. It no require internet. It is already coded. What he uses is coded. When you finish, you snap them. Now, just like person when they send the picture to your friend, you snap and post them. So all this wayo fraud say some place no go to electricity. You no require electricity at all.
So you mean say the Senate president they lie say
he's lying. He they lie. See, I'm saying that IRF no require internet. In the last election, the beavers does not. Let me tell you. Tell them. Say they suppose know that in 2013, 2023, the election, the problem was electoral transfer of an election. So anybody person will get sense, suppose they say by this time, the first way for do now to fix that will cause trouble in 2023. So we are shocked that somebody like the Senate president, something simple, INEC has a facility. They don't do them for they don't do a many governorship election. So waiting there difficult to say after vote, count vote, sign them, post them, so that if tomorrow somebody rig them, I go see the duplicate say this result. When I don't see result where they use declare Tinubu, some of them you go 100 cancel 10 times, cancellation. Even primary school result never did like that. So we don't understand why Akpabio and his cabal want push Nigeria enter where Burkina Faso, Guinea, Mali, Niger enter. Because all these places, what it costs them now, rig the election.
It was later discovered that the IRF they wanted to use actually do not need network. It can operate whether with network or not. So looking into this, we see that it is not just about denying the use of IRF in transmitting results. It is about a movement to rig the election. It is about a movement to rig the election. But that was captured, a diplomatic movement. That is the protest that captured, that aspect through which they want to rig the election. And this is one thing I wanted to say actually, that the use of IRF does not, guarantees the victory. So let no Nigerians, rejoice only at that. But we should see the protest, that was protest, to fight for the use of, electoral transmission of results. Electronic transmission of results, which is through the IRF. We should just see it as God, standing against every movement, using a diplomatic movement to stand against the means through which the, other people who are trying to, manipulate results, rig results of election, let's just see it as God using that to stand against them. Because even with the use of IRF, they can even rig the election or manipulate it or tamper with it. But the point is that seeing this move of God should give Nigerians, should give us a hope that God is with us. God's end is in this election. And the fact that God's end is in it by revealing himself through, standing against, the people who want to rig the election through the means of denying the electronic transmission of result, which is by the use of IRF. So now that the bill has been passed into law and that the electronic transmission of result will be upheld according to prophecy and according to what has happened yesterday, the 10th of February 2026, according to how that the Senate themselves have passed the bill into law, and of course the IRF will be used. So let us listen to what they have to say so that we can know that truly it has been passed into bill. I mean the electronic transmission of result. And of course, they said some things. They said that maybe they are going to use other alternative of manual counting of results if the IRF had issue. But that is not a problem. That is just to cover up their face. That is just to cover up their own face because they would not want to come to you and say, okay, we agree to what you demand. We agree to what your demand is. They will not just come to you like that. This is politics. This is, game. So you have to understand that they will not come to you like that. So what is really there right now is the electronic transmission of result. So listen to the video.
It's very simple. If you disagree with him, move your counter motion. So if you agree with him, you agree with me when I put the votes. When I ask for the votes, when I ask for your consent, let me read the motion. Is earlier motion which passed in our last sitting, he has sought to rescind that is in respect of section 60 subsection 3. And this is what it is. That the presiding officer shall electronically transmit the results from each polling unit to the IRF portal. And such transmission shall be done after the prescribed form EC8A has been signed and stamped by the presiding officer and or countersigned by the candidates or polling agents where available at the polling units, because sometimes you don't see any polling agent. Provided that if the electronic transmission of the result fails, if it fails as a result of communication failure, in other words, maybe network or otherwise, and it becomes impossible to transmit the result electronically in form EC8A, signed and stamped by the presiding officer and or countersigned candidates or polling agents where available at the polling units. The form EC8A shall in such a case be the primary source of collation and declaration of results. So distinguished colleagues, if anybody has a counter motion, you move it later. But in the meantime, those in support of the motion as enunciated by Senator Mongunu and seconded by Senator Bamoro say aye. Aye. And those again say nay. Nay. The ayes have it.
Now you see, so it has been passed. We are going to use electronic transmission of results, and of course, you see all of these things are just fulfilling prophecy. They are just fulfilling prophecy. So every prophecy we have given by the Spirit of God, they just set the tone for what will be happening, in the future time. And of course, these are part of them. These things happening are part of them. So you have anything to say, share with me in the comment section. Let me hear from you. And make sure you share this message so that other people can know that the bill has been passed into law regarding the use of electoral transmission of results, and as well as the prophecy given that confirms that they were going to use it, has already been fulfilled. So God bless you in Jesus' mighty name too.